The only way that Utah can survive the rest of this season until Cam Rising is back is if they start Nate Johnson. Now, that shouldn't really be a hot take. If anyone watched that Utah Baylor game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Heck, if you watched Utah versus Florida, you should even further agree with my point that Nate Johnson has to be the guy for this team. Breaking down our thoughts here on this Utah Baylor win, that was a heck of a finish, heck of a recovery by Utah. Defensively, they fought tooth and nail to keep themselves in that game, forcing multiple turnovers, huge stops throughout the game. I have to give significant credit for a guy that I was really high on coming into the season, and I'm going to continue to ride this train. Cole Bishop, one of their bigger box safeties, big body player, almost built like a linebacker. He flies upfield 100 miles an hour, and he had the important game-sealing interception that set up the winning touchdown at the very end of this game. Cole Bishop deserves to be in the conversation as one of the best defensive players in college football and also potentially the best defensive back in all of college football. He is that good. Utah's defense for the remaining stretch of this year is going to be in that conversation as a top 15, top 20 defense. And I know that seems like an aggressive take to have after performances against a struggling Florida team and an inept Baylor offense without Blake Shapen. But the way that they make plays and the way that they keep their team in games despite a lack of offensive success is an indicator to me that that defense can win them games and possibly win them games that they're not supposed to. Maybe it is against one of their top Pac-12 foes with a dynamic offense that they have on the remaining stretch of their schedule. But I guarantee that by the end of this year, there will be a game where they have another crazy defensive performance against one of the top teams that they play. But what is going to keep them alive, as I said at the beginning of this, they have to keep Nate Johnson in and start him the next game and the remaining stretch until Cam Rising is fully healed and back and takes over that role. We know how good Utah can be when Cam Rising is in, and their success is going to be stringent on as soon as the sooner he can come back. But it is pretty crazy to me that Bryson Barnes stayed in as long as he did. And it took until the very end of the game and blatant evidence that Nate Johnson is clearly the better guy, the more dynamic athlete, the better runner, and maybe even the more aggressive passer too. He immediately had an impact. He ends up finishing 6 for 7, 82 yards, doesn't throw for any touchdowns, but he had that rushing touchdown that was crucial for them tying up the football game. I don't see any argument on how you can even turn back to Bryson Barnes. He has been a fine backup quarterback in his career at Utah, but he cannot be the starter. You have to go with the guy that is a threat on every single level because right now you do not have your veteran leader. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that one. If you do disagree, let me know in the comments. My last final thought here, I think that Utah has the legs to remain in the conversation as one of the top 4 teams in the Pac-12, and they can still very much fight to finish in contention for the Pac-12 championship. But it just all is going to come down to that quarterback position because as we saw today, it can very, very negatively impact their chances of winning. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back with more. Make sure you check out BetOnline for all of your sports betting needs. For anything that I do betting related, I go on over to betonline.ag and I use promo code BELIEVE50. BetOnline has all of the latest updated odds for the NFL and college football seasons. Anything you need, whether it's futures, live in-game betting, no matter what, your football betting needs are met at BetOnline. And again, make sure you use that promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50 to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.